Hey, it's the Chief Bonding with Board Games and RPGs. So first, please hit that subscribe. Give me a thumb up. It'll help with the trending of these solo role-playing videos. So, to recap, brutal last episode with the one mortar shell going off and just the randomness of where they were placed, meaning Pacheco and the orphans, where the randomness of where the shells went off, and then the randomness of what parts hit, and then the randomness of the cards. And wow, that was kind of a heavy episode, I will admit. I was a little stunned and surprised. But we're going to follow the dice, where they go, what they happen. So we're picking up with Kanan Krieg. He's just done another contact shot. Well, a couple of them. He's taken out one of his own marauders, bringing him down to 7. So with him, 8. But they've gained some information on where this probably forward operating location is for Bartek. The runner had some information back and forth, and I think there's almost a sure thing. Well, what would it be? A sure thing, Chaos Factor 7, that Krieg saw or heard those mortar rounds coming away from that same area, and they're close to it, or at least close enough. Under Chaos Factor 7, that means a yes is 95 or less. So I think him being outside the wire, it's already catching all these other folks by surprise. The internal base is collapsing. Those mortar rounds, we'll talk about more of what they think they are. But first, let me see a sure thing, I think. But we'll see, 95. Ooh, 92. That was close. That was closer than I thought it'd be. So yes, Krieg, here's the thump, 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 10 rounds. A lot of times you can see the flash coming from where they're at. And it's in a position that Krieg and his 7 marauders can at least get observation on. Now pause for a second. So coordination of an attack at night is extremely difficult. Shooting at night is extremely difficult. When I was in the Army, we practiced shooting at night. A lot of times you're way high with your rounds. And normally, military action, there'd be a lot of flares put up, artillery, mortar, whatever, so that you could light the area and actually see what you're shooting at. Well, there's not all that. The base doesn't want the flares. They're defending, but they have night vision, so it's to their advantage to keep it dark, and Bartek's crew doesn't have access to them. So what I believe was going on, or what the natural event was that coordinating, once they're inside, once those militia troops and those untrained Nosians are inside, you can quickly lose direction on where you're at or where the focal point is. However, if the plan was, hey, we're going to drop, we've already got the main headquarters, they know how it's laid out, spotted, and we're going to drop mortars on it. And the signal, I believe, was that where the mortars hit and you see and hear and the thump, that's the area you're going to move to. So that was part of the signaling. And so that's going to be leading those breachers of the base toward that location. But we're with Krieg, and he's seen these flashes of mortars going off. And he wants to move in stealthily to this area. This would be a recon roll for him, which his recon is not that good. He's got an A in intelligence and a D in recon, which is a D12 and 6. Now he has these Nosians with him. I believe they would know the area. And so we're going to go ahead and I think just give them, we'll improve it from a 12 and a 6. I think it would be a 12 and a 10. And you cannot push a recon roll. So this will be them moving stealthily into position to get a visual over top. And if they fail this, I think they are spotted by somebody. Now, we know they look like and are Polish Nosians. So we'll deal with that. Let's see if they can get in unspotted. I need 6s or better. 12 and a 9. So that's 3. That's extremely, extremely good. I believe Krieg with the Polish marauders that are with him, the 7, I think they're able to easily kind of work their way in. No one's expecting a group to be outside the wire anyway. I don't picture guards out. I think it's all hands on deck. And they get a look at this forward observation base. Now, we already had from the note of the runner that the buses had been coordinated out of this location. Well, the buses are gone. So right off the bat, they don't see the buses. That's what they were told would be there, but they're gone. Of course, we know the buses have already delivered their cargo, 150 folks, and they've penetrated, and that was a big part of the controlled penetration of their base. Those are gone. But the question is, what do they see? Other than mortars, we're going to say they see, I think it's a single mortar, 10 rounds, thump, thump, thump. They see that, but there's got to be some other activity as well. We're going to go to event, meaning, and action subject. So let's see, where's my pencil? We got 82. 82 is, okay, activity. Activity. And what's the other one? 58. 58 is stalemate. I don't know what that would be. Activity, stalemate. Okay, so, all right, well, let's go with what we've already talked about. Those mortar shells were a cue for the folks inside that had made the penetration, the buses, which are gone, to move towards that location. So what would be a stalemate at this forward base for Bartek? We know there's the last suicide vehicle, so I think that is there. And obviously waiting to go. So suicide car, let's get that note down so I don't forget that. That's sitting out there. Okay. There must be somebody inside that's going to state when the attack is starting to take place on the Corps headquarters. And I would imagine not only the coordination of the mortars to bring them in and the suicide vehicle, I imagine there's some actual Bartek marauders, the better guys, not just the militia from Nizhno. Almost, you would want another trained force to move decisively. I like that. So they're staging. Yet another group is staging. Let's assume some trucks, maybe even some technicals. I like that. We'll go with some technicals. So we've got the suicide vehicle, like some rusted out Saab that we had from the last time. I'll throw a photo up. We've got some technicals waiting, stalemate, waiting with Bartek Marauders on board. Okay, I like that. How many would they have? I don't think it would be up to 100. I don't think there's any way that would be. I think it's going to be a die roll 6. So are we talking, we'll do it in 10. So 1 would be 10. That would be pretty slim, probably 2 vehicles. 6 would be 60. That would be something. So let's just see what it is. 1. Okay, well that makes sense. So we have 2. We're going to do 2 technicals, each with 5 militia, or a Bartek militia each. Okay, all right. And what this is telling me is this is the last, this looks to Krieg as the last tip of the spear. They're even lined up. Yeah, they're lined up so that the Saab, which looks loaded down with it's rusted, and it looks, I think Krieg saw the other vehicle, a Saab, come in and do its explosive thing. It has this weird box on the top, probably more explosives. And he sees one of those, and that's in the front. So he's like, ooh, another suicide vehicle. And then he sees the 2, like technicals, the 2 Toyotas with probably some kind of 14.5-inch guns in the back. And obviously some trained militia. And I'm curious, does he see at least someone who looks like a leader, like a Bartek? Interesting. Let's go just plain 50-50, which means still 75% here. Does he see Bartek here as well? Ooh, 97. So that's an extreme no. No Bartek, no leader coordinator there at all. That's a flat no. So he doesn't see what looks to be that Bartek top tier leader roaming around. This is simply a staging area, was for the buses, it is for the mortars and our mortar, and now for this last phase. But Bartek's not there. So let me do this. No Bartek on scene. All right, so I think the question is, that's what is seen. There's only 7 Marauders with Krieg, 8 total. They don't have any heavy weapons with them, no laws. That's what Krieg would love to have, but they don't have that. They simply went out the wire. I am curious, this suicide vehicle, we've already seen the second one that showed up, Pacheco. Now, well, go watch episode 32 if you haven't. Hopefully you've seen that if you're watching this one. That blew up, took around and just poof. So that's a possibility. 2 technicals, that's not something you want to shoot straight at, but they have the opportunity of surprise. But that's not, I don't know if Krieg would even do this. He has no radio to call back. So Krieg is trying, we're still under the Law 16, which is part of this 48 Laws of Power Machiavellian book that we're using to guide Krieg in his serial-killing, sadistic, narcissistic ways. Law 16 is Giz, use absence to increase respect and honor. So he went out of the wire. He left the base, basically, to kind of create this mythical loyalty and respect, but now he's in a position to capitalize on that. I don't think he would want the base to fall. He's still working towards being the king of Nizhno. If he can stop Bartek, who is not on scene, this would be a big coup for him, especially if he's the one that breaks it up. Okay, so that's what he's going to do. The question is how. I think the Achilles heel would definitely be the suicide vehicle. So he's got to maneuver close enough, and I think how they're staged, it's probably close enough to those technicals and right in this forward area that would be the key. Okay. I need a plan of action. So the Nizhnosians are there. They've just got rifles, though. You don't want to get too close if you are going to blow that thing up. We did establish they have some hand grenades. So I like this. Let's get within hand grenade range. The key would actually be to walk up, slide one in, and walk away. I like that. That is what would happen. And Krieg is not much of a shot, but he has a great command personality and persuasion dice roll. So that is it. I think he's got 7 with him. I think selfishly you'd want to keep 3 with him, but if there's 4 that could make this move, and if they can get in there. So let's see. I think he's first going to issue a command to these guys. Hey, 3 with me will cover you. Or at least the 3 will. We know that Krieg's not much of a shot, but they're in a perfect position now where they could cover with the rifles and even close enough for the grease gun. I like it. And I think the order is going to be for the other 4 to move up and just simply get, they each have a grenade, and if they can get into a position where they can pull the pin and roll the grenade inside the suicide vehicle, that should blow probably the whole forward base staging area up, including the technicals. I like it. That's the plan. So the order is to, this is what they're going to do. However, Jan is not there. So do these guys, we've already showed that they'll stay with him even when he took out one of their own. Jan's given them the order to do so, but this is a pretty risky order for 4 of them. So we do have 2 D12s. His empathy is A. Now that empathy is for himself. I have a note of that. And his command is A. Persuasion's A. I think he's going to use, it used to be B, but I moved it up as all this was going on. So we're going to do 2 D12s. I think he could even push this. Ooh, we've got a 3 and a 1. Interesting. So if he pushes it, he can't push it with that 1, and I think there's got to be a consequence. If he gets another 1, that's like a hard fail. So he may even lose these guys at that point in time. Or does he switch? No, I think he's going to push it. Maybe these guys bail on him right here, though, and disappear. That would be interesting. A push. You got an 11. That's 2. That's a success. So this would play out. I see Krieg takes in the situation, and he tells the Marauders, I need to get several of you down there with grenades and get them inside that suicide, that sob, and then get out of there. And right off the bat, there's like, no, that's a suicide mission. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Look at this. We got the technicals ready. No, we're here to do what you want done, but we're not here as martyrs. I like that. And then this is where Krieg pushes it. So does he push it? He pushed it with command, not persuasion. He's not good enough with his suppressed gun to threaten him with that. I don't think so. And we know he got this done, but I don't think he did it with a gun. Simple. Well, I'm not talking about killing yourselves. God knows I need all 7 of you just for us to get out of here and get back to base. But we can't leave that. This is the best opportunity we've got. You guys look and are Niznosians. You should be able to just walk in there as if you're recon or turned around militia. We'll cover you. And then I think he points to one of the Marauders, like probably one of the leaders. Yeah. And he goes, look, I don't know. Jan. Jan, I already got a Jan. Hold on. Hey Siri, give me a Polish name. Ooh. Adolf means noble wolf in Polish. That's it. Adolf. Thought that was just a German name, but obviously not. All right. He points to Adolf. First name on the list. Noble Wolf, who's kind of a little bit of the quasi, you can kind of tell he's the leader, and he decides he's going to do 2 things. He's going to enlist him on his side, and also by keeping him with him. So he's not one of the ones making the risk. I don't think Adolf would be opposed to it, though. Still feel weird using that name. First name that came up on the list, Noble Wolf. So he says, Adolf, you stay here with me. What's your plan? How do you think you could get them in? We can all try to make it if you think that is what needs to be done. Adolf immediately is like, no. I don't think Adolf wants Krieg anywhere near this thing. He tells him, first of all, you'd stand out. You would blow this. You need to stay here in cover. I like the idea of 4 different guys, but not... I think they need to come in as a team, and they need to seem and look like they know what they're doing. I think he quickly dispatches one of them, run back and grab that fur cap of that sniper and his rifle, and boom, he sends that runner to go get that. What he's going to do is look like there's 3 militia coming in with the sniper. Known to these guys, knows the hat, I think he even knows someone that's about this with them that's about the height of that sniper. Hell, they killed him. They know. That guy runs and comes back, and now the rest of the 4 are in line with this. They're in agreement. So what we're going to do is play out real quickly those 4 walking in. So I think, just to keep things moving, I want to first, the 4 are headed in. They've each got a grenade. Their goal is as simple as to wander in, move by the vehicle, and if they can, get 4 grenades in it. And then get out of there. That'll be the harder part. That's what they'll be covered. So first, I think we go with a simple yes, no on are they challenged as they approach. That's the key. They really got to get in there. It's a little chaotic. The mortars are going on. The staging's going on. I think the ruse of the hat and the sniper rifle at a glance is not going to set off alarm bells. So I think there's almost no way, but that's still a 35% chance that they're going to be challenged. So are they challenged as they approach this forward area? I don't picture this as barbed wired in or any kind of base. It's just like it might be as simple as a parking lot that's got the mortar set up. So as they approach, there's still a 35% chance that they're challenged. Ooh, 30 even. 30 even, so yes, they're challenged. All right, I've got the Marauder. What is his ability here? His Persuade is not that good. I have a D and a C, so a 6-sided die and an 8-sided die. All right, that is his Persuade, and the problem is they're going to fail probably on a close inspection. All right. So right off the bat, again, this isn't like a wired area. I think they're walking into a parking lot, the 4 of them, and hey, why are you guys back here? All right, and the answer in Polish. Actually, I think Polish. Let's give them one more because of the Polish. We're going to go with 2 8-sided die. Still not a sure thing. I like the fact that they are Niznosian. Accent fits. Everything fits. Ooh, 3-3. That's a fail. I think the answer is probably a poorly given. Well, we heard the mortars going off. We thought we were supposed to come back. No, that's not part of it. And I believe it's at that point that at least the person who's talking to them starts to signal for someone else to come over. And I think that's easy. I don't think they're going to get any further at this point in time unless Krieg and Adolf take action. And this was pre-planned that if this goes down, they're going to light up whoever blocks them, and then they'll take everybody else under fire. And those guys' sole job is to get up there and get grenades in. Okay. So the point Adolf had said, Krieg is to use his suppressed weapon to shoot at the groups. I don't know if they're on the vehicles, but there's clearly folks for those technicals. Krieg's going to shoot at them. Adolf was real clear that anybody that challenged his guys, he would take care of with accurate rifle fire, but that's going to make noise. But they did not want Krieg firing because there's a chance you can hit your own in this game as well, and we are going to follow that here. So we've got just the General Marauder. Their ranged combat is C, their agility is C. So we're just talking those 2 8-sided dice coming into play again. But we do have 3 guys that are designated to take that shot, and we can push those. It is an A1, which the rate of fire is 6. However, I don't think this would be on full auto. Matter of fact, I think this would intentionally be on single shots. You're not trying to spray into that whole area. And they're fairly close at night with the ambush. I'm going to give them a +2 for that, moving both of these up to the 10-sided die. They've got the surprise. It is nighttime, but this forward area is kind of lit up just with vehicle lights or whatnot. They're not even thinking stealthily that anybody would be out there, so I like that. And I'm going to have 3 shots, and they do have the ability to push here, but we'll go with Adolf first. So he's, again, looking, he said, I'll take the first shot. He's looking to take this officer, whoever down, who's challenging him then. For the first shot, ooh, 7 and 10. That makes that easy. So that's 3 hits, 5. It's 5 rounds fired, but I picture him, again, single shots. Boom, 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 boom. And he's putting them in and completely drops this guy. Now, this has made a racket. Okay. I want to see, does Krieg get any hits on with a silenced weapon on these guys shooting? He's simply got a 8. He didn't have the 10 side. He's got an 8-sided die. He is firing 4, but we'll roll this other one last. So he's aiming at some guys either around the technical, on the technical, suppressed. They're close enough. Let's see if he gets any hits here. Oh, he's got an 8. He actually gets a hit, I think, for the first time at range. Let's see what this is. A 4 with a +2, 5, 6. That means he's going to have a second hit. So it's post, but I think Krieg was aiming at someone who was kind of hanging out near the one of the 14.5-inch machine guns on the technical. So Krieg is going to drop one of the machine gunners, who, again, it's not like they're ready for action, but Krieg's got a hit on them. And how many rounds did we go through? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So 17 rounds. I don't think he'll do a mag change there, but he might be able to fire again. I think with the element of surprise, we can give them 2. One guy dropped. We've got 2 other. Let's give him one more shot. He'll empty the mag out. I think he'll pop over to the other technical. Maybe they've got some guys there as well. 7. He got another hit and 2 6s. We'll just assume I rolled the other one that would have been a +2. I think he's coming on, and at least he gets another one. There's some confusion around both technicals, and when they're getting lit up with rounds from a silenced weapon, both technicals peppered. We'll call it peppered with, and I think he's dropped 2. One of which was the machine gunner. Maybe he got the other one too. We don't know. But both technicals are now in a definite state of confusion with guys hitting the ground, falling down. Some are killed. I think we're getting quite the opportunity for these guys to make the run at this point in time. But let's do our other 3 Marauders that are sitting in reserve. We were doing the 10-sided die. I think these guys are opening up a little bit more with their, I think with full auto. They're just putting down a volume of fire again on concentrated troops. So, oh yeah, tons of hits from this guy. So this is like Marauder 2. A 10 and a 7, that's 3 hits. And 1 extra, so we're just going to put down that I think he would put 2. That's taking 1 out, and we got 2 more hits. We're going to put those on a whole nother person. So he's managed to take out 2 Bartek. Now we know we had 10 around those technicals. We had someone challenging. I think he's going to take... let's see, how much ammo did he use? 23, only a 30-round mag. Well, let's just do 1 more die, assuming that he's only got, 8 rounds maybe. So let's roll that. Let's see, he's going to take a second. He's hosing down another area. Wow, a 6, a 5, a 6, 7. That's exactly, I think that's his full rounds, but... that is 2 more hits. Well, we'll just do it as 1 more hit. So it's a critical with 2 hits. Someone's killed. So, and he's emptied. He would start his reloading process. So he got 3. We'll do Marauder 3. Same way. First one's full auto here. Maybe he'll empty it. We'll see what he gets. Oh, we're going to have to push this. He's got he's got 2 1s. 3 1s. I still think he would push it. And he may break his M16 or jam it here. But he's going to push. That one's off. Ooh! He does have 2 hits, but he's also got 2 more. So his gun is going to be damaged. But he did manage to get 1 person. And then he fully jams his gun. That's 7 Bartek down. You got to figure there's a mortar crew, totally separate but running their mortar. That usually means they're not going to have where they've run their mortar. They would have rifles, but whether they would have them readily available. They can get to them. And there's usually a mortar crew is going to be at least 2. You might have 3 or 4, but this is a pretty good hit. And I think this means the sprinting of the 4 with the hand grenades is going to be done with 12-sided die. They're just in full sprint. The guys dropped in front of them. The technicals are getting hit. The suicide vehicles in front of the technicals, and they're going to sprint for it one at a time. There's 4 of them, and just pull the pin and drop in their grenades. There might even be an option if you get a couple in there that a couple grenades go toward a technical. Well, mobility roll. It's just a mobility roll. In which case, it's got to be a little harder than just 12s. These guys would be able to run, though. I think 112 is good. I've got, I don't have, oh, that's because I'm looking at Krieg. Hello. Their agility is C. All right. So we'll go with an 8-sided die with the 12. They are acting with surprise. I think we're going to give that to them. And these guys, it's not like they're on crutches or anything. So the first one, we've got a 7. So he gets there. And what I'm going to do is, these are the 4. Second one, his grenade is in. They're running up in unison. Ooh, a 12. He's got his in. We've got 2 grenades in the vehicle. That's already probably enough. Another 10. Wow. This worked pretty good. And do we get the trifecta? Yes. We've got a 6 and an 8. So this worked perfect. We've got, might as well do it right here. We've got 4 in Roman numeral. All 4 of them break in on a run. Confusing. Matter of fact, I think a few people looking around, the one guy was shot right in front of them. I actually think the general feeling is that there's someone outside shooting at everybody, including these guys who look like just normal Nose-Nosian militia that are involved. So I don't think anybody's even, well, 1, they're all caught off guard. 2, they don't even see them as a threat. Their weapons are slung. And they're running like as if they're going to cover, which would be these vehicles. And the gunfire's all coming from outside on the perimeter. I love it. I didn't even think of that. These guys run completely unobstructed to the vehicle. I think someone's even yelling at them, no, get away from that, knowing that it's a powder keg. All of a sudden, grenades come out and just thump, 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 and thump. All 4 of them dropped inside. And the guys start beating feet back out the other way. I think nobody's probably even going to be able to mess with them on that. I don't want to do a roll on that there. I think it's more like a sure thing, which is a 95 or lower, that they get out of there in this chaos. There's a lot of confusion going on. A lot of accurate hits are coming down, even from Krieg. And I think, although we'll let these guys figure it out, a 95 or less, 65. Yeah, they beeline back out of there. Grenades are going to give them about 6 seconds, 8 seconds, depending on whatever the fuses are set for, or general. And they're able to sprint right back out into the dark. I think these shots are ringing out. Kind of those second rounds are still coming. Extremely confusing for the group. No major leadership there. Bartek's not there. None of that's going on. So there's not a lot of cohesion. The question would be, I think I don't need to roll that 4 grenades is going to set off this vehicle. This vehicle's going to blow. And it's going to blow big, just like the other 2 did. Big enough that it took out a 105. So as the guys get to cover, in that time, I think, are they able to get to cover fully? We're just going to go 50-50. This is going to be a big explosion. Are they able to get to cover 75 or less? 2. Oh, that's an extreme yes. So they're able to get back to a pre-designated, hey, once you throw the grenades in, beat feet out of there and get inside that concrete building. Beat feet and get inside that concrete building over there. Plenty of cover. They get in there, and I think one of the Marauders was doing his own countdown. It was like, everybody down. They're out a little ways, but they're like, get down. And boom. Within just a second or 2, that whole place lights up with that Saab exploding. And it takes the 2 technicals with it. The mortar team is at the very least bowled over, if not out of the fight entirely as well. Let's just roll. I think it's a near sure thing. Wow, that's still a 95. Well, it'd be a 95 even for very likely. Goodness. I think it's a near sure thing that that the mortar crew is combat ineffective. A 1. Well, it's beyond combat ineffective. They're close enough to the blast. They're gone. They're gone. The technicals are gone. That whole forward operating area, anybody that was left, which I don't think was much, was 7 of them. Boom, gone. Wow. Wow. Holy moly, Krieg. This one action might be key in saving the base. There's no more mortar fire coming in. There's definitely no suicide vehicle. That was used against them. And there's no technical with just 10 dudes coming in. And just by that sheer number, that was the last of like the coordinated militia. That would have been the kind of what was supposed to be the final hit. So what we're going to roll back on, we're going to end the scene here. We will pick up back in HQ. But now all they're going to have to deal with is the people that have breached, which was roughly 70 some folks. I'll get that figured down when I go into that one. I'll look at my charts and the lists and who's broken off and who's where. But they're in a defensive position with heavy guns and able to defend themselves pretty well. So that's interesting. And we'll check in on the orphans. Goodness. No uncle, no more protection for them per se. But if you're enjoying the final parts of season 1, we're definitely coming toward a crescendo. You can feel it in the action. You can feel it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on the bell for lives. I'll do lives every once in a while, usually with my interviews on this show, which are usually board game designers, although I wouldn't mind doing role-playing designers as well. But please do subscribe. The numbers have been popping up, and that helps out the channel greatly, greatly. All right, we will, no doubt, be getting very close to concluding season 1. After season 1, the show concludes, I will do a live chat with anybody that wants to weigh in, and I'll pre-announce that, so look for that in the future. But whoo, wow, Krieg just came through. Might be time to work back to base now, Krieg. Maybe. Bonding with board games and RPGs. See you guys. Bye.